James Carville just had a mental breakdown on live television. You won't believe what he and Wolf Blitzer cooked up. What is it? Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dr. Ken Henry, and this is Conservative Commentary, where we spread the MAGA message. Before we dive in, I'd like to ask you for a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. This really helps us out. And go to the address in the bottom right corner, youtube.com/@themagamessage, and check out our other videos. Carville, the slimy Democratic strategist, appeared on CNN's The Situation Room with Wolf Blitzer, where he vehemently claimed that President Trump hates our country. He went on to say that he was trying to stay in his chair so he wouldn't punch his computer. Watch.
Well, I think that as Steve pointed out, the Wall Street Journal editorial page use him. People are flummoxed, and I am too, because I've come to think maybe Donald Trump hates the United States. It's a very significant thing to have. But look at Mexico. North America, for the past 20 years, has been an economic powerhouse. I mean, if you look at the economic power of Canada, the United States, and Mexico, it's pretty impressive. And I don't know, because try to explain, why is he doing this? Why is he doing this to Zelensky? Why is he voting with North Korea and Russia and God knows Belarus and the United Nations? And I just can't get it out of my mind that I think this man, it's some possibility. We have to consider the possibility that our president hates our country.
What a dope. Carville's assertion seems to disregard the numerous policies and actions undertaken by the Trump administration that reflect a commitment to America's prosperity and security. From revitalizing the economy through tax reforms to strengthening national security measures, the administration's initiatives have been aligned with promoting the nation's well-being. It's also worth noting that Carville's recent predictions about a supposed collapse of the Trump administration have been met with skepticism and, quite honestly, ridicule. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responded to these claims by highlighting President Trump's robust approval ratings and the public's support for his policies. Leavitt emphasized that the administration is delivering on its promises, reasoning with the American populace, resonating, actually, with the American populace. Such unfounded allegations like those made by Carville and Democrats in general further polarize the nation, making it imperative for public figures to engage in fact-based discussions that foster unity and understanding. Carville advised Democrats to play possum and allow the administration to self-destruct, suggesting that aggressive opposition might be counterproductive. But a Harvard Cap/Harris survey indicates that President Trump's approval rating stands at 52%, reflecting stable public support. Additionally, some analysts argue that the administration's policies continue to resonate with a significant portion of the electorate, particularly regarding economic and national security issues. So, Jimmy, have your tantrums and mental breakdowns. President Trump is marching forward with an America First agenda in spite of slimeballs like you and the Democrats. Watch the following clip of Caroline Leavitt on Hannity, and please share your thoughts in the comments.
All right, it's now time for our Hannity Washington briefing. We welcome back White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is with us. You know, the AP deal is a big deal to me, and this, frankly, you have reconfigured that room quite a bit, and you've invited in bloggers and invited in other media that traditionally have not been there. But I would go back and say that most of the mainstream legacy media, they were wrong on FISA, they were wrong on Russia, they were wrong on the case in New York, they were wrong on pretty much everything involving Donald Trump, and they never corrected themselves, did they?
Mm-hmm. They never did, Sean, and the winning continues here at the White House every day. Today, a federal judge right here in Washington, D.C., denied the Associated Press's emergency request for a temporary restraining order to restore their privilege of returning to the White House press pool. And the judge's denial of the Associated Press's request reinforces what I said from the podium last week and what President Trump has been saying. Covering the American presidency in the most intimate and limited spaces in this White House, in the Oval Office, on the Air Force One, is a privilege. It is not a legal right. And we want all voices to have that opportunity. And that's why we've expanded the James S. Brady briefing room to invite truly legitimate, independent journalists, podcasters, and other media types into that room to cover this president with honesty and accuracy and with real mindfulness of what the American people actually care about. I also want to thank you tonight, Sean, for fact-checking James Carville for the lies that he pushed on your program last week. Unfortunately, James represents the deranged and out-of-touch Democrat Party who continue to deny the reality that this country loves Donald Trump. And in fact, President Trump is enjoying his highest approval rating from the American people than he ever has, despite the years of lies, smears, and witch hunts by the Democrat Party. The Harvard-Harris poll today is incredible. When you look issue by issue, the vast majority of the American people support what President Trump is doing. You showed it. 81% of the American people support deporting illegal migrant criminals from our nation's communities. 77% of Americans support a full audit into the waste and fraud that this federal government has been spending their tax dollars on. And that is the exact mission of DOJ. So these numbers, these approval ratings are what you get when you have a president who actually does what he promised he was going to do. And that's why the Democrats are facing their worst, lowest approval rating since 2018. Not even 40% of the American public supports the current Democrat Party. President Trump will continue to abide by the will of the American people who elected him to this big, beautiful White House behind me. And we are restoring common sense to our great country.
You know, I just showed this audience Harvard-Harris and where they stand on DOJ and cutting back wasteful spending. I showed CBS. All weekend long, if you look at CBS, they're not even looking at their own poll. The New York Times, USA Today, MSDNC, The Washington Post, CNN, fake news, Huffington Post, Newsweek. They all had some version. GOP lawmaker confronted by constituents angry with the Trump-Musk cuts. It is contradicted, Caroline, by their own polls. And we're not talking about 55%, 78, 80% of the American people don't want they don't want their money spent this way, and they don't want their children and grandchildren robbed this way. And this is what Democrats call a constitutional crisis, and this is what the media falsely reports on. It's difficult to penetrate through that wall of, frankly, propaganda and lies.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of lies from the left, especially from the Democrat Party. And as you said, they're propagandists and the left-wing legacy media. But the president and our administration are cutting through those lies every single day with a mega level of access and transparency to the commander-in-chief. Nearly every single day, President Trump invites journalists into the Oval Office and gives them the facts and the truth because he has that on his side. And he is doing so much, accomplishing so much, that the mainstream media can't even cover it all. I mean, today we had a major announcement on a Monday morning that Apple, one of the biggest companies in this world, is going to invest $500 billion right here in the United States of America and create 20,000 new jobs. America is open for business again because of the policies and the confidence that has been restored across this world because of President Trump being behind the resolute desk. And I just saw President Trump's statement, in case your audience has it, from a few moments ago. He says our country is doing very well, and he was just thinking about the company that was shooed away and canceled by the Biden administration who wanted to build the Keystone XL pipeline. He is inviting them back. We want the Keystone XL pipeline built. He wants a pipeline built in the Northeast, in New England, where I am from, where we have some of the highest electricity and utility rates in the country. This is a president who is constantly thinking about how he can help the American people, innovating and pushing groundbreaking ideas on every single issue. And that's, again, why the vast majority of Americans are seeing through the mainstream media and the Democrat Party's lies, because they are seeing real results come from this administration every single day.
Last question. How quickly do you think or anticipate the president will meet with President Zelensky and President Putin?
We expect those meetings to take place very soon, especially the meeting with President Zelensky. And as the president expressed today, he wants the critical minerals and rare earth deal signed. It is going to recoup American tax dollars for the hundreds of billions of dollars that we have paid for Ukraine's national defense. He expects President Zelensky to sign that deal. It's only right, considering what the American taxpayers have done for Ukraine. If it were not for the American people, Ukraine wouldn't be a country anymore. President Trump knows that, and he's getting the American people what they deserve.
Well, and also will help them to have our partnership and us on the ground.
That's right.
Helping them, you know, that'll give them money to rebuild their country, which is a disaster right now. And the killing does have to end. Caroline Levitt, we appreciate it. The White House briefing with Caroline.